The Ries Report with Al and Laura Ries.
Maybe you read the paper on New Year's Day. Maybe you missed it, New Year's Eve being such a busy time. But anyhow, you might have missed this story. In 2007, some of the big corporations went to a smaller size and a sharper focus. This caught our eyes because, frankly, that's our theme. That's our slogan. Focusing consultants. Here, for example, is Frank Blake, the new CEO of Home Depot. Here's what Frank Blake said. Bob's strategy, that's Bob Nardelli, was to enhance, extend, and expand. In other words, go after adjacent markets and customers. No longer. Here's what he says today. My vision is that all key investments should be focused on the core retail business. Very good idea. Matter of fact, one of the first things that Mr. Blake did was sell HD Supply. This was not a small deal because HD Supply is a $12 billion service for professional builders, but it just didn't fit with their core customer, the do-it-yourself person. Also in the article, they talked about a company called IAC Interactive Corp. You probably know this. This is Barry Diller's corporation. They built a brand new headquarters in Manhattan designed by that famous architect Frank Gehry. Well, IAC Interactive has Ask.com, Ticketmaster, LendingTree, Home Shopping Network. All of these are big deals, plus more than 50 other businesses. Well, here's what Barry Diller decided to do. He's going to break up the company into 5 separate public companies. Another good idea, another way to focus. American Standard, you might know the name. They were basically a manufacturer of bath and kitchen fixtures until they got into a lot of other businesses. As a matter of fact, they bought Westinghouse Air Brake. They call it WABCO today, Vehicle Braking Systems. And they also got into the air conditioning business with a company called Trane. Well, today that's all changed. They sold the bath and kitchen fixture business. They spun off the vehicle braking business. And they just very recently sold Trane to Ingersoll Rand. Talbots? You know Talbots? This is a classic clothing store for women. Traditional clothing for women. Well, a number of years ago, back in 2001, they were talking about getting into the men's clothing business. Talbots for men. Retailer mulls it, but focus now is on core markets. Unfortunately, I think they made the wrong decision. They got into Talbots for men, and sales went up. The sales went up from about $1.6 billion to $2.2 billion. But unfortunately, profits went exactly in the opposite direction. Profits went down from $128 million a year to $32 million a year. So they took a look at the numbers, and guess what they did? They shut down the men's and children's stores. They closed the business. Again, focus, focus, focus. Look at McDonald's, the first hamburger chain. It's hard to believe when McDonald's first started, they had 9 items on the original menu. Hamburgers, cheeseburgers, milkshake, French fries, and some drinks. Today, you look at the same McDonald's, and they got some 90 items on the menu, 10 times as many items on the menu as they used to have. And they keep adding. Earlier last year, they added chicken wrap. This doesn't sound like a good idea. And of course, they're selling burritos. Burrito? Taco Bell. And their latest, just announced this week, their latest idea is to take on Starbucks with Baristas in McDonald's. That's what they're planning to do. High-end coffee products in McDonald's. Hey, let's take a look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Go back 10 years. McDonald's per unit sales in 1996 was almost $1.5 million per store. 10 years later, it was almost $2 million per store. Now, you might think that's a big gain, 37% in a decade. But don't forget, hey, we've had inflation, right? In 2006 dollars, that 1996 number, instead of being 1.4 million, would be $1.8 million. So really, in a decade, with all those new products added to the menu, they've had a gain of just 7%. Not very good to me. Now look at another operation called In-N-Out Burger, primarily on the West Coast. In-N-Out Burger menu, they have hamburger, cheeseburger, double-double. In other words, their hamburger's a double, and so a double-double is a double cheeseburger, and French fries, and 8 beverages and 3 flavors of shakes. Pretty much the same as McDonald's original menu. Well, go back to 1996 again. In 1996, McDonald's, as I said, had almost 1.5 million average per unit sales, where In-N-Out Burger was 1.1 million per unit sales. Well, they were 21% behind McDonald's 10 years ago. But look at today, 2006. Today, as I said before, McDonald's is almost 2 million per unit, but In-N-Out Burger is 2.2 million per unit. In other words, 12% ahead of McDonald's. No menu change at all. Their same basic menu. Hamburger, cheeseburger, French fries, beverages, that's it. What does McDonald's gain by all the line extension, all these new products, all these new ideas, all these new concepts? Not too much to me. Right, the same food choice. Hamburgers, cheeseburger, double-double, and French fries. That's it at In-N-Out Burger. Look at Ford versus Chevrolet. I mean, look at the trouble these two automobile companies are in. And they're both in deep, deep, deep trouble. I mean, Ford has 7 car models and 9 truck models. Chevrolet has 6 car models and 10 truck models. What do you advertise when you got 16 different models? I'll tell you what I would do. It's the same idea. Focus. Focus on your best model and get that model to draw in people into the showrooms. But look what Ford is doing. I mean, they ran 4-page ads, and on one page was the Ford Edge, the next page was the Ford Escape Hybrid, and then we had the Ford Focus, and then we had the Ford Fusion. I mean, one ad, we had Edge, Escape, Focus, Fusion, total confusion. On the other hand, Chevrolet, I think, has done it smartly. Chevrolet's entire advertising program, as far as I can see, recently at least, has been focused on one model, the all-new Chevrolet Malibu. Of course, I'm not too happy with some of the ads. We're tired of being a foreign car in our own country. In other words, hey, we're worried about Toyota and Nissan and Honda, so we're going to call ourselves a foreign car? I don't think people are going to buy that idea, but I do compliment Chevrolet on focusing on one model. Hey, in an over-communicated society today, the only way you can get into a mind is focus. A lack of focus at Ford causes them lots of deep trouble. You can't divide an advertising budget into 4 individual segments and hope to make progress. That's going exactly the opposite direction. Much better is Chevrolet's approach. This is Al Ries, and that was the Ries Report.